At 80 years old, Tom Selleck has reached a rare point in life where reflection outweighs ambition. After decades of success, discipline, and deliberate privacy, he has finally chosen to speak openly about one of the most influential figures in his life, James Garner. For years, Selleck avoided discussing Garner in depth, not out of indifference, but out of reverence. Some bonds feel too meaningful to summarize in passing sound bites. Now, with time granting clarity rather than distance, Selleck is ready to share the truth about the man who shaped not only his career, but his character. This is not a story of rivalry or Hollywood legend-making. It is the story of mentorship, humility, and example. It is about how one actor quietly helped another survive fame without losing himself, and how gratitude sometimes takes a lifetime to fully express. Roots and restlessness, a working-class beginning. Tom Selleck was born Thomas William Selleck on January 29, 1945, in Detroit, Michigan, into a working-class family shaped by post-war realities. Like many American families of the era, the Sellecks later moved west, settling in Sherman Oaks, California, in search of opportunity. Growing up in Southern California during the 1950s and 1960s, young Tom gravitated toward sports, especially basketball. Tall, athletic, and competitive, he believed athletics, not entertainment, would define his future. That belief carried him to the University of Southern California on a basketball scholarship, where he studied business administration. At that stage, acting barely registered as a possibility. Yet beneath the discipline of sports and academics was a quiet adaptability, an openness to unexpected turns. That openness would soon place him on a path he never planned, but one that would define his life. From court to camera, discovering a calling, while at USC, a drama coach noticed something Selleck had never considered: his natural presence. Encouraged to take acting classes, he approached them cautiously, seeing performance as an experiment rather than a destiny. But once he stepped in front of a camera, something shifted. Commercial work followed, including now iconic Pepsi ads in the 1960s that introduced audiences to his unmistakable look and relaxed confidence. Acting, unlike basketball, allowed space for individuality rather than competition. After college, Selleck entered Hollywood the hard way: auditions, rejections, and small guest roles across television. Shows like The Dating Game and The Rockford Files offered exposure, but no guarantees. These years tested his patience and resilience. Fame was nowhere in sight. What he gained instead was something quieter but more valuable: experience, humility, and the ability to endure uncertainty without bitterness. Near misses and quiet lessons. Selleck's early career was defined as much by missed opportunities as by roles he landed. He was considered for major film parts, including the role of Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Though favored by Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, scheduling conflicts with a television commitment ultimately forced him to walk away. It was a moment that could have defined him, but didn't. Instead of resentment, Selleck accepted it as part of the profession. Around this time, he formed a meaningful connection with James Garner, whose show The Rockford Files Selleck had appeared on early in his career. Garner wasn't just another star, he was an example. Watching how Garner handled fame, pressure, and people planted seeds that would later grow into guiding principles. Lessons were being absorbed quietly, long before Selleck realized their importance. Magnum P.I. Stardom arrives. In 1980, everything changed. Tom Selleck was cast as Thomas Magnum in Magnum P.I. The show was an instant hit, and Selleck became one of the defining television stars of the 1980s. His portrayal, charming, flawed, humorous, and tough, felt authentic. Magnum wasn't a caricature of masculinity. He was human. The series ran for 8 seasons, earning Selleck an Emmy and a Golden Globe. Fame arrived swiftly and loudly. Yet even at the height of popularity, Selleck resisted Hollywood excess. He showed up prepared, treated crew members with respect, and avoided self-mythologizing. Those choices weren't accidental. They echoed lessons he had observed years earlier in James Garner's behavior. Magnum made him a star, but how he handled that stardom would define his legacy. Beyond the mustache, range and reinvention, Selleck didn't allow Magnum P.I to confine him. He transitioned into film with ease, proving his versatility in projects like 3 Men and a Baby, 1987, one of the highest-grossing comedies of its time. He also embraced westerns, notably Quigley Down Under, 1990, honoring a genre he deeply admired. These roles expanded his image beyond television, reinforcing his credibility as an actor. Later in life, he reinvented himself again as Frank Reagan in Blue Bloods. Beginning in 2010, the role showcased maturity, restraint, and moral authority. As the patriarch of a law enforcement family, Selleck brought gravity shaped by experience, not bravado. Few actors manage such longevity without compromise. Fewer still do it while remaining grounded. Family, responsibility, and choosing stability. Away from the screen, Selleck prioritized family. His first marriage to model Jacqueline Ray lasted over a decade, during which he adopted her son, Kevin Shepard, a decision reflecting responsibility rather than obligation. Kevin later found success as a musician, notably as a drummer for the band Tonic. After his divorce, Selleck met Jilly Joan Mack in London. Their 1987 marriage became a lifelong partnership built on privacy and trust. Together, they raised their daughter Hannah, who chose equestrian sports over Hollywood. Selleck deliberately stepped back from relentless work to be present at home. The family settled on a 60-acre avocado ranch in California, once owned by Dean Martin. For Selleck, ranch life wasn't an escape. It was a statement. Stability mattered more than constant visibility. James Garner, the standard of authenticity. At 80, Selleck finally speaks openly about James Garner, not as an icon, but as a man. His admiration began in childhood, watching Maverick, where Garner's effortless charm felt real, not performed. Years later, working alongside him, Selleck expected distance. Instead, he found warmth, humility, and generosity. Garner treated everyone equally, from stars to crew. That alone left a lasting impression. But more importantly, Garner offered guidance without preaching. He warned Selleck about ego, entitlement, and the illusion that success lasts forever. He emphasized character over applause. Those lessons became anchors. In an industry fueled by insecurity, Garner modeled steadiness. To Selleck, that example proved more valuable than any award or headline. Lessons that lasted a lifetime. What Selleck now admits is how deeply Garner shaped his personal decisions. Watching Garner balance fame with a long, devoted marriage showed him that success didn't require sacrifice at home. When Selleck later chose to step away from Magnum P.I at its peak to focus on family, that choice echoed Garner's example. They shared candid conversations about pressure, health, and staying sane in a public life. Garner's humor often cut through anxiety, reminding Selleck that perspective matters. Jim could make everything feel manageable, Selleck recalls. With time, he sees that parts of his own legacy, professionalism, restraint, loyalty, are inseparable from Garner's influence. Speaking now is not about nostalgia, it's about acknowledgement. Conclusion: gratitude spoken at last. At 80, Tom Selleck understands that legacies are built not only on roles, but on relationships. James Garner was not just a colleague or mentor, he was a compass. In finally telling the truth, Selleck offers gratitude rather than revelation. He recognizes that becoming the man he wanted to be required seeing that man first in someone else. James Garner set the standard, Selleck admits. I'm still trying to live up to it. In an industry obsessed with reinvention, that may be the rarest achievement of all, remaining true to what matters. And perhaps that is the real truth Selleck shares now. Greatness isn't loud. It's consistent, generous, and quietly passed from one generation to the next.